January 6, 1995, downtown Manila. A fire broke out on the 6th floor of an apartment complex. Firemen would respond in standard fashion, just expecting a minor kitchen accident gone out of control. But what they found were materials used for bomb making. This caught the attention of Filipino authorities, and investigators were immediately dispatched to the scene. Downtown Manila was put into a state of high alertness. This was because the Pope was landing in town to celebrate World Youth Day 1995, which was going to be held in Manila on January 10th, 4 days later. It didn't take long to put two and two together. While the scene was still under investigation, one of the residents of the apartment, Abdul Hakim Murad, was spotted trying to sneak back into the room. He was quickly apprehended by police and taken in for questioning. The information given by Murad would uncover the whereabouts of not only an FBI's most wanted, but one of the most prolific terrorists of the 1990s, if not all of contemporary history. This suspect in question was Ramzi Ahmed Yousef, who was an ambitious man, fueled by a passion to kill all the infidels and reclaim the glory for Allah. And by the infidels, I just meant anyone he didn't like. And due to his upbringing by Palestinian and Pakistani parents, there were a lot of people he didn't like. He would go to the United Kingdom for further studies in electrical engineering, and then go to Afghanistan to pursue the field of bomb manufacturing. Also while in Afghanistan, he would catch the attention of Osama bin Laden, who took great interest in the young radical. Both men would build a strong relationship through their hatred of the infidels, i.e. Americans, Jews, Christians, East Asians, and so on. And Yousef would become a very well-respected observer of Al-Qaeda. He wasn't actually a part of Al-Qaeda, he was just a very close associate. Yousef would be dispatched to New York in 1991 to fill in the leadership position for a small terrorist cell in neighboring Jersey City. There, he would start his short yet very lengthy terrorist career. Around noon on February 26, 1993, Yousef would pull into the subterranean garage of the World Trade Center in a rented van. He would swiftly exit the vehicle and flee the scene. Moments later, an explosion would rock the North Tower as its interior was engulfed by deadly fumes. 6 would die in the explosion, and almost 1,000 office workers would suffer from health issues related to smoke inhalation. The FBI were pretty quick to react. Following an investigation which included over 700 agents, they found that the van was rented, and then this is where Yousef's New York venture would fall apart. You see, the member who rented the van, Muhammad Salameh, used his actual name and was pretty quickly apprehended by federal agents. Following the capture of Muhammad, co-conspirators were being swiftly picked off one by one, except for Yousef, who fled to Pakistan, but not before trying to blow up the UN headquarters and several other New York icons. Despite the rough start, the rest of 1993 and the following year of 1994 were relatively quiet for Yousef, with the only notable events being the numerous botched assassination attempts at the Pakistani Prime Minister, blowing up a Shiite mosque in Mashhad, Iran, killing 26 people, and trying to blow up an Israeli embassy in Thailand. To put it shortly, no one was safe from Yousef. And in turn, that also meant that nowhere was safe for Yousef, considering that now several Islamic agencies also wanted his head. So in the late summer of 1994, Yousef fled for the Philippines? Why? Why not the safety of Afghanistan? Oh, because Bill Clinton was visiting in the Philippines that November. Yes, he was going to kill a sitting American president, but the plan fell through ultimately due to logistics. So with all that free time, he began to piece together his magnum opus of killing people. The Bojinka plot. The following is a hypothetical in which the Bojinka plot was actually pulled off. On January 15th, while Pope John Paul II ventured through the crowded streets of Manila towards San Carlos Seminary, the assassin, who was disguised as a Catholic priest and armed with a nitroglycerin bomb, would make his way towards the Pope. The assassin would then blow himself up with the intention of killing the Pope and causing a mass panic. This wasn't the main attack though. This was the distraction. Days later, on January 21st, terrorists would board 11 intercontinental flights from various parts of Asia to North America. They then planned to plant Mark II microbombs, which consisted of batteries, nitroglycerin, several other explosive chemicals, and digital clocks to set them off to explode over the Pacific Ocean. The terrorists would then make a quick getaway from their layoff locations prior to detonation. Lastly, a 12th smaller plane would be hijacked and purposely crashed into the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. According to FBI estimates, 4,000 people would have died in the attacks. Following the uncovery of the conspiracy, Yousef once again propelled himself into the public eye. He fled the Philippines back to Pakistan, but at this point he was outrunning almost every government who wanted to prosecute him for his various attacks he planned, attempted, or pulled off. In February of 1995, his luck ran out as Ramzi Yousef was caught by Pakistani authorities in the town of Islamabad. Pakistani and American agents were tipped off by a resident who Yousef tried to indoctrinate into Al-Qaeda. He was then extradited to the United States and given a life sentence in federal prison in September of 1996. Yet despite the capture and conviction of the mastermind behind all these attacks, the worst part of the conspiracy was still under wraps. In 2003, during the aftermath of 9/11, which was based off the Bojinka plot, federal investigators would capture Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who, by the way, was Yousef's uncle. During the interrogations, they would learn about another extension to the Bojinka plot known as Operation Plane. Operation Plane was a plot that was so logistically insane that even bin Laden himself had to call off the plan. Al-Qaeda cells in the US would hijack 10 or more commercial airliners across the United States and then wreck them into the following locations, including, though not limited to, the previously mentioned CIA headquarters, the J. Edgar Hoover Building, the U.S. Capitol Building, the White House, the Pentagon, the Twin Towers, the Sears Tower, U.S. Bank Tower, and the Transamerica Building. Not to mention, there were going to be even more hijacked planes, which are going to be used to attack several nuclear power facilities across the country, locations in Washington state, and then Mohammed himself landing one of the planes at an airport, boasting that he orchestrated the attacks, and then killing all the male passengers on national television. Around 2,700 people died in the September 11th terror attack. Victims to this day are still being identified, so concrete numbers are unknown. The US government estimated that 4,000 people would have died in Phase 2 alone. You would also have to tack on the death of the Pope, and if Phase 3 was enacted in its entirety. Imagine waking up one day and hearing that the Pope is dead, 4,000 are missing at sea, tens of thousands of Americans are dead at home, national landmarks such as our nation's capital, the White House, Sears Tower, and the Transamerica Pyramid are gone or heavily damaged, and large portions of the United States are left irradiated due to attacks on nuclear facilities. And all of this only occurring over the course of a couple of days. Sounds like a hellish scenario, but what if, somehow, Al-Qaeda managed to pull off the Bojinka plot in its complete and unfiltered insanity?
And that's where I come in.
Wait,
Hi, this is Cody from Alternate History Hub. No guys, it's Mr. Z. How you doing? How would our nation be different if the sadistic plans of Yousef Ramzi came to fruition? How would these attacks alter relations between Christians and Muslims following the assassination of the Pope? And how would America rebuild her lost monuments in the face of great devastation? We'll be going over that and more over on my channel right here.
Go check out his video too, it's really good. Oh yeah, Ramzi Yousef is still alive today, and he used to be cell neighbors with Ted Kaczynski right before he died in May of this year. This has been Mr. Asian Pie. See you on the flip, and don't be stupid.